Leanne Finger, Senior Director of Tournaments for the Arizona Golf Association, is the recipient of the Southwest PGA Player Development Award, which recognizes a PGA professional for extraordinary and exemplary contributions and achievements in the area of player development. Throughout her career, Leanne has continuously proven her dedication to player development through her involvement with the game's governing bodies. She has supported nearly every national program for the PGA and LPGA to help promote the game. This past September, Leanne earned the title of PGA Master Professional in Player Development, the highest educational achievement that can be obtained by a PGA member. She is the 10th woman to earn this status and one of only 375 master professionals among the PGA's 29,000 members. Leanne is also one of the 210 women nationwide who are both a PGA member of the PGA of America and an LPGA Class A professional. Ladies and gentlemen, the Southwest PGA Player Development Award honoree, Ms. Leanne Finger.
You just recently earned the title of PGA Master Professional, and you're only one of 10 female PGA professionals who have done that, out of the 29,000 and more PGA professionals. When did that become a goal for you? And then now that you've achieved it, what does that mean to you?
Well, you know, Steve, first before I start, I'd like to congratulate all the other award winners tonight. It's very humbling to be in this room with such great talent, and appreciate the section for the acknowledgement. Regarding the Master Professional, I had the good fortune to work for the PGA of America, our national association, and I had the pleasure to work with our education staff there and worked on some of the player development initiatives from an education standpoint. And so after I'd been a member for 8 years, I had the opportunity to become a certified professional, which, as we know, is the first step in becoming a master professional. And I was at the merchandise show in January of 2019, a year ago, and Todd Salmons asked me, he said, hey, where are we with that master professional degree? And I said, okay, I will make it a goal to have that done in June of 2019. And so I worked really hard, and a program that I co-founded when I worked at the EWGA was a program called Grads to Golf. And we had a program in place where we went into colleges and universities that had MBA programs, and we encouraged the female business major students to take up the game of golf, so that it was something that we like to use, a tagline that they had in their toolbox when they went out into the business world. So that was really the premise of my thesis for my master professional presentation. And it was really a lot of work and a lot of effort, but probably the most pride I had was that presentation last summer in St. Augustine with a panel of my master professional peers. And it was a little bit first tee jitters when they left the room to have their debriefing for 15 minutes. But when they came back and asked me to stand and shook my hand and said, congratulations, you're number 375. That was a very proud moment. And they shared with me that it will mean the most to me when I went to the merchandise show this year and got invited to the Master Professional Luncheon. And you walk in a room much the size of this room tonight, and everyone in the room has their Master Professional designation. And that's probably when it meant the most to me.
It's fantastic. And it takes a commitment, right? I mean, it's something you have to want to do. We all know how busy we are. And did you find it difficult finding time to do it? Or how did you manage accomplishing that with everything else that you do? Well,
you know, the fact that I had used that same program as a basis for my certified professional program, it was really a matter of doing the legwork, writing that thesis, coming up with supporting materials. And as I shared with another award recipient tonight, you photocopy that 190-page booklet and you bind it and you send it 3 copies of it to Florida. It was pretty amazing.
So you've been involved with player development almost your whole career. What made you, or what attracted you to player development early on, and why has that meant so much to you? And also, as a question, how important, or do you think it's an advantage now for females in the business environment to get involved with golf, and what are the barriers to them getting involved with golf?
So I had my interest certainly in player development when I worked at the PGA of America, working on national promotions that we've all been a part of, like Free Lesson Month, Free Fitting and Trade Up Month, Women's Golf Month, Family Golf Month. And I was at the PGA when we helped Dan Rooney launch Patriot Golf Day. So I got to witness firsthand really programs that were designed to help fellow PGA professionals drive more rounds to their golf course, drive more revenue, introduce new people to the game. So through those national promotions, I really had the opportunity to see firsthand how we could make a difference introducing more people to the game. I think back to my very own start in golf at Des Moines Golf and Country Club. Master professional Jack Olson was the gentleman that I took junior golf lessons from. And so he made sure that I had, you know, a good golf swing. He gave me encouragement, wanted to see me succeed. Fortunate to have played high school and collegiate golf. So it was really, you know, probably him being a mentor, but seeing how you can make a difference in a kid's life that really inspired me and made me want to be in the golf industry. And then your second question regarding, you know, females in the game, certainly the PGA of America is focused on diversity and inclusion. And I heard a comment just today that we're all diverse. So what we really are talking about is inclusion.
Right.
And so what we want to do is to make our sport be welcoming. A story I love to share is how I was introduced to the game 45 years ago by a friend who asked me to go hit golf balls. And essentially that's what we're still asking women to do today, and men, is to invite someone into the game.
And where do you see our greatest opportunity for growing the game now? And everybody says we have to attract the millennials. How do you attract the millennials? There's some challenges there, I think. Correct? But
You have to make golf fun. You want to make it affordable, and you want to make sure that it meets the current consumer's time commitment. We all hear the comments that golf is too long, and it doesn't mean that golf always has to be 4 hours. There's nothing wrong with taking 2 hours to play 9 holes. There's nothing wrong going to the driving range and practicing. So
it is a game after all, right?
Right, and we're supposed to have,
fun.
and you're supposed to have fun. And so I think that those are important things to remember. Certainly venues like Top Golf and Drive Shack, some of those new venues that are coming on board. I know a few years ago, those of us at Greengrass facilities felt that that wasn't authentic golf, but my thought is if it gets golf clubs in people's hands and gets them, they're not always going to go hit golf balls at Top Golf. They need to come to our facilities and play golf. So.
Right. Any way we can introduce them to the game.
Exactly.
Right? It's fun. I like Top Golf. I
Right.
think it's a great time. So now you work for the Arizona Golf Association, and you're the Senior Director of Tournaments. You have over 75,000 amateur golfers that you're conducting events for. What impact does having that ability to make an impression on so many golfers do to the growth of the game in Arizona? And what does that mean to you? Because you're touching a lot of golfers in a very golf-centric state.
Sure. You know, I was fortunate to be a part of the Arizona Women's Golf Association, and we, a year ago, integrated with the Arizona Golf Association. And so prior to my coming on board, I would guess it's that my perception of the AGA was much like everyone else, that, well, that's just an organization that puts on high-level golf tournaments for great men golfers. And the message there is it couldn't be, that's a small portion of what we do. We offer just for fun golf events that are social in nature. People can play in a scramble, they can play their own ball, they don't have to keep score, they don't need a USGA handicap. So we are really more than just competitive tournaments and championships. A program I'm really proud of is our AWGA Build-A-Team program, and that's where we go into high schools here in Phoenix and outstate Arizona. We essentially go into schools that are underrepresented and underserved. We offer a $2,000 grant to create a women's or a girls' golf team for them. And so when the program was created in 2012, the last 9 years, we've touched 51 high schools and more than 300 girls that have come through that program. So, that's kind of our version of player development. We certainly love partnering with the PGA professionals here in the section to help them promote the game any way that they can, because I think we're all in it for the same reason.
Right, and AGA puts on great events, and I don't think a lot of people understand and appreciate the work that goes into producing some of these large events, even
Sure.
small events, right?
Right.
And so your plate is so full. And I'm going to read some of these things because it's unbelievable. So you're a PGA Master Professional in player development.
Mm-hmm.
You're one of only 210 women nationwide who are both a PGA of America and LPGA member. You serve on numerous committees and for many different organizations, and you're president of women in the golf industry. Is that it?
That's it for right now.
That's okay. Are you ever home?
I am home. As we all know, as Steve mentioned, we have about 70 competitive events on our calendar, which the last I counted up, that's 154 tournament days. So as we all know, that's early mornings and long days. But I'm really been blessed to find a job that I really enjoy. And the neat thing for me is it started by me running tournaments for women, and it's morphed into now being able to do tournaments for men. And the fun thing that I love to share is the fact that the guys are coming to me saying, hey, we want to go to the venues that you're taking the women to. We want to be able to play in these types of events and these types of courses within our state. So it's really a joy to work with the amateur golfers and to certainly work with the golf professionals in our section to bring our events to their top facilities.
So you've done so much to help grow the game and just accomplish so much in your short career. And I'm sure there's a lot more left. What's next? What are your next goals? What do you want to accomplish?
You know, I would still like to be very heavily involved with golf in the state of Arizona. We have, as you mentioned, 75,000 members. Our magazine that we send out to the households, I believe our subscription rate, Bill Huffman could help me with this, but I think we're in the 95,000 subscription rate category. But out of all of that, we only have about 10% of that population that plays in our competitive events. So certainly a lot of people who are members of the AGA, maybe primarily to keep a USGA handicap, but looking for ways to engage those people and bring them into our events, whether it's social events or competitive events or learn to play golf events.
So you've accomplished a lot, but there's always people who help you along the way. Anybody that you'd like to thank here tonight?
Well, certainly my mom and dad are here from West Des Moines, Iowa. So it was a real treat to have them come down and join us.
Yeah, I'm sure they're happy for many reasons to be here.
That's right. My sister flew down from Vancouver, Washington, so she's here this evening. And my husband, you asked earlier if I was ever home, and I'm pretty lucky that I have a husband who loves to cook. And I can almost count every day getting a text message from him asking what we'd like for dinner.
How great
so
is that?
I show up at home at night with a home-cooked meal almost every evening. And certainly, as Michael mentioned earlier, a very dear friend of mine, the former executive director here in the Southwest section, Cathy Wilkes, is here tonight. And she's a great friend. We met when we worked together at the PGA of America. And I've shared the story before that I was first drawn to her over a University of Iowa logo golf ball, because I saw this in her office and I said, "You from Iowa?" And so that we had that in common. But I was very impressed with the fact that Cathy had been a successful female leader in the golf industry. And so she was quickly a mentor to me, but the beauty of it is she's a very best friend as well. So
That's great. Well, thank you for all that you do and the example that you set as a PGA professional and an LPGA professional to help grow this game, because it's something that's so important, and
It
you're
is.
very deserving of this award.
Well,
So
thanks much.
congratulations.
It's an honor. Thank you much.